That's right.
Lime?
All right, we're lime, everybody. You might remember this from our last video, which was after the finale. You might be saying to yourself, are you guys working on the Jasper again? And the answer would be yes. But this isn't cosmetics like last time when we changed those rear taillights because we just realized it needed to happen. This has to do with the steering. And after we put the lift on this baby, and then Dr. got these sweet Jeep bigger wheels and tires, a little issue happened when he went to get it aligned. And that's because the caster, so I think the best way to describe that, what would you say, Dr. Torque? It's like shopping carts. You know how when you're pushing a shopping cart, the wheel is back, the front wheels are back behind? How would you describe it? It's hard to describe. It's easy when you're looking at it.
Yeah, the front tires are the ones that pivot on a shopping cart.
Yeah. Are
called casters.
Casters?
And
you know, the ones that wobble?
They actually have like a kind of a forward motion. If you're moving, it's always going to be aligned a certain direction.
Well, the wheel's like behind that.
The center point of the
center
pivot
point,
or whatever.
Yeah, okay, you know what we're talking about. And on vehicles, it's actually the opposite, right? They're pushed forward.
Yeah, on these, you want there's an upper and a lower ball joint, and you actually want the lower ball joint at a certain degree ahead of the upper ball joint.
Yeah.
And so we had this put back together with, I put the control arms in at stock length, which, you know, made it so these wheels and tires would fit and not rip the bumper off.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
But the alignment shop wasn't able to get the caster adjusted without, you know, when he would do that, he would actually move that lower ball joint forward. Or, forward, yeah. Forward. He would pivot the whole axle this direction, which would move the lower part forward, which would move the tire forward, which he said would then contact this right here super easy.
Yeah, if he put it where it should be, it would be too far forward and we'd be having some bumper ripping off. And so Dr. Torque let me drive this baby, Jasper, for a week, and the steering is a little on the twitchy side. You have to really be on top of it. Probably improve my steering. I actually, joking aside, I think I had to get better at this because if you don't, it wants us to, you start fighting that kind of a thing. So what we're gonna do today is something that I can't believe I'm saying, but we're gonna cut this bumper. We're gonna cut this bumper. We got to figure out exactly how this, because we want to cut the bumper out so that there's more room for this to be moved forward. We want to save the inner fender, because what we don't want to do is just, I know some of the guys on these they're just out forward and wheeling, bombing around. They're just take a hacksaw and just cut that. But we're trying to make it nice, aren't we? We want it nice.
Sure. Yeah.
Yes. The answer is yes. So that is what we're going to attempt to do. So Tom's going to get in, and we're going to turn this wheel and this tire, and we're going to see how much room we don't have and how much room we need to have, because he was saying it's got to come forward, what, about an inch?
Yeah, he said that it would probably move the tire forward about an inch closer to that bumper cover, and that's very, very close.
Yeah.
And then, you know, just looking at that right there, it's close, but then when it's turning, it's closer.
Yeah, well, let's do it.
If you hit a bump while turning, it's closer.
That's that. Well, if you hit a bump while turning, there's no more bumper. That's what that is. That one, a little bit more, a little bit more, right there. Yeah, come take a look at this. Because if you hit a bump, like this is actually past it. So that is pretty tight. All right. Oh yeah, look at that. Yeah, that would definitely, you'd have to hit a very big bump, but you could probably scrape it. Well, there's our problem. So now we got to figure out exactly what we're going to do on cutting that out, and how we're going to save it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got some thinking to do, because we want this to be nice. No hack jobs.
I was going to lean on my hand, but I'm not going to.
Don't lean on your hand. Yeah, Dr. Torque is down. He had some surgery, so he's out. So it's all you and me. And first thing we're going to look at here is how much of this do we need to trim. We certainly don't want to over trim it. Right now, I'd almost say it's probably not safe with a big bump as is. So we got to do an inch, maybe an inch and a quarter. And I don't want to go any further up here than we need to. And I've got a place to tie this into this inner fender into the bumper, right? So I'd really like to avoid that. But I would say by here, we're plenty clear. So it's almost like we'd have to take maybe about this spot here and taper it down about an inch. I'd say maybe an inch and a quarter to be really safe. So about right there. So maybe we can just use the dirt on here, the dust, and maybe something like that. Maybe we'll tape that. We'll play around with that a little bit, and then we got to figure out how, after we lose this spot, we're going to tie the inner fender back to the bumper. But one little step at a time here. We'll just start laying it out. Like I said, I think with some tape is a good idea. Have a look at this. I have moved this. I was thinking 1.25 inches, and it ended up being like almost 1 inch exactly. But if you look at this line right here, that just misses this plug here, which I really don't think we need to move at all. And I've sort of curved this down until it's out far enough, and then I've straightened it out. I don't need to keep taking that angle out. The tire starts curving back, right? So what do you think? You think that's pretty good? That's going to cut it like straight there until we get up this way, and then we start curving back. I think it's pretty good. You like that?
Sure.
He likes it. Do you like it? Hey, I say we... Hey, Mikey, you like it?
Hey, Mikey.
You like it? I say we start cutting this baby and see what happens. That's going to be fun. One little note here. To get a curve with tape, especially wide tape, is pretty much impossible. So I like to put one piece down, and then the second row is kind of finishing your angle out, and then put a third one across here to blend it. And then actually what I do too is I have to just roll the tape a little bit with my thumb to get a nice little radius on there. Because we want this to look good. We want to look like, hopefully you can't tell that we did it. That would be ideal. So that's my little tape trick. Yeah?
Tape trick.
Tape trick.
Mm-hmm. And then some people would say, why didn't you just think ahead and get yourself some thinner tape, Jake?
Because we had this tape laying right here. And that's why we use it.
And we didn't think ahead.
And we didn't think ahead about super thin tape. If you get, that's a good point. If you get really thin tape, it'll bend radiuses a little bit better. But we're gonna make work. Hey, maybe you only have the white tape. You know what I'm saying?
Pinstriping tape or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. But maybe you like to use really wide pinstriping. Yeah, a little bit. I'm just gonna pop this one thing off right here. There we have it. And of course the tire's in the way, but that's perfect. That's what we want. I just don't want to cut. I think that plug that goes through that little nail, you know what I'm saying? I just don't want to cut it when I'm cutting this.
Sure.
I don't want to cut that too. Okay, now we're good. Now or this, because this plastic kind of curves around in there. So we got our cut tool. Let's get that plugged in, and let's get to juicing. All right, we'll do it. Sprayed some hot plastic in my face. Wow, that's some hot plastic.
It looks like it's stuck to your forehead.
Is it? It feels like it's stuck to my forehead. Is it stuck to my forehead?
Yeah.
Here, I'm gonna give you the camera. It's probably getting, it's getting splattered too. Hold on,
Uh-oh.
it got all over your face. There's no place for a camera or my face. How was that even getting in my face? I thought I had the shield turned. Apparently not. All right, well, it's coming. I'm gonna just clip that. I want that to go straight across.
Plus, you can leave that there so that's not flapping while you're trying to cut the rest of it.
Yeah. All right. Let's finish this. Well, okay. So I've got a little. I missed a slight bit there, and then we got to have something, probably a razor knife to cut that.
Okay.
But I think we're getting real close here. There we go, got that. I'm just gonna cut that off, like, maybe. There we go. Okay, so let's see what we think here about this. I mean, I'm gonna borrow that from you. That line looks pretty good. Oh, I'm happy with that. Once that's tucked over, dude, that's pretty clean. That's awesome. That's always fun when you do something like that. It's a little scary and you get done, you're like, yeah. I mean, once I pull that tape off, I really don't think you'll notice that. I mean, even if I have to touch up this line a little bit, but gosh, that's why it's good to tape. That's why it's good to tape. Tape your line out. Taping's like practicing before you actually cut it, because you can put the tape up and go, that looks terrible, or I'm going to make some slight adjustments. But, oh man, what do you think? You probably can't really tell right there, but...
I mean, it looks like that line just continues down.
That's what I wanted. I wanted this line to look like it just kind of feathered right in there and that you couldn't tell. So, okay, let's clean this up a little bit and then figure out how we're going to tie this up in, but that's good stuff. I'm gonna
my glasses off.
peel this tape off.
That doesn't work. Ooh.
Don't, careful with your digits or your wrist. Okay. Oh man, yeah it is. I just need to touch up maybe that, just a scotch right there, but that is cool. That is not gonna be noticeable if you're not looking for it. Stop looking for it. All right, so have a look at this. I made one adjustment. I used a razor knife just because it's pretty soft plastic, just to adjust this curve until I really thought that radius was nice and clean from this angle, right? It just continues on. It looks like it's supposed to. This here, I did angle that. I had this cut straight across, and I angled it up because what was happening is this inner fender was hitting that and then folding in so you kind of see it. So by angling that up as well, now it lets this sort of just flow down. And so my thought is, if I use this hole right here where this little stud was, and maybe I find a way to zip tie or pull that back, because that's what Dr. Torque was saying he's okay with, but I am not zip tying it to the bumper. That's out, just so you know. That is unacceptable. We're not doing that. That is not professional. But if I take this light here and we look inside, and maybe there's something, oh yeah, there's lots of metal or plastic. There's got to be something in here that we can take and just put a zip tie here and pull this back. So I'm going to look at that a little bit, but I'm very happy with this so far. This is looking really good. I was nervous that this was going to look like a hack job. It don't look like that at all. This is nice. So let's continue our work. Look what Tom made me. The rain was coming in sideways. You come into my tent here, we could tell spooky stories. Spooky stories with Uncle Jake. But look, he came over and made this little tent house because the rain was coming in sideways and it just wasn't cool. So what I'm thinking here is that there is, if you can see up there, there's a metal bracket for the bumper, but there's a hole right up there. Do you see that where I've got the zip tie? And I'm thinking if I ran that down here and tied it into this hole and pulled it in, would it be enough on its own? That's what I'm hoping. I feel like I'm camping. Oh, check it out. That's perfect. That pulled it actually plenty far in there, maybe even slightly too far. I'll have to maybe adjust that. That totally did it. We'll take the cardboard down now. I think the rain stopped for a second. Take my Ford off, and then I'll have you look at this. But I think that might have done it. Let's put this hump on our head here, and we'll press that back in so we have full effect. Okay, so I'm going to cut that because it's not right to leave zip ties ends on. Just wanted everybody to know that. But what do you think about that?
I think that looks better than I expected.
So hopefully on the other side there's that little hole on that little metal bracket piece that's coming down. There's just a little hole. I don't know what it was there for, but it was perfect and pulled it right up, tucked it in. So let's clip that and then we'll straighten wheels and we'll step back and we'll have ourselves a look-see. So when you step back and I look at this, that line looks really good. There's right at the top. I need to trim that just a little bit. So let me show you how easy it is to do with a razor knife. I think cutting it with that wheel initially is way better than trying to hack it out with one of these. But when it comes to then trimming and shaving a little bit, razor knife, piece of cake. So if you take your razor knife, because I don't like this part right here, you can just lightly, ever so slightly, file that off until you get it the way you like it. And also, now that we've got this, I think that when you get this aligned after you'd have one other project with the front axle, if it's still close, we can just continue trimming it with this a little bit. But I think that's pretty dang good, man. What do you think? You like it?
Well,
you happy with that when you look back?
Step in the right direction for sure.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's enough.
Hopefully. If it's not, we'll just do a little more trim with this. I think that's pretty good. So the cool thing is we got to do this side, but that does it for today on this The cool things over there. That's right. So how about that? Now, if you follow this project, and one of the things you want to do on your Jeep is lift that and get these bigger wheels and tires on. Now you can see how easy it is to trim that front. And it really wasn't that bad. And I hadn't done on one of these like that. We've trimmed other bumpers in different ways, but not like this. So that wasn't too bad. So if you like Jeeps and you like Grand Cherokees and you like 1999 Jeep Grand Cherokees, especially ones named Jasper, go back and check out the series on this. We did a lot, including engine replacements, everything is. So next time when you see this Jeep, we'll probably be doing that front axle work, huh? I think that's probably the next thing. Yeah, which is the continuation of after the finale on the Jeep build. Have yourself a great rest of the day. Give us a thumbs up if you like this. We always appreciate that. Ask any questions, comments. You know what we're saying? We're going to take you out the patent independent fist bump of friendship. Whoop-ow. All right, we're lime. We're lime.
You're lime?
We're lime, everybody. You know what, Chen? You know, Chen. Holy biscuits.
Good thing I made you put those glasses on.
Oh my gosh, look at my face. It's everywhere.
Uh-huh.
Look it. He did. He saved me from all that rain.
Yeah.
It was very considerate of you.
Would have melted.
I would have melted. I'm melting. That's what happens. That's what happens to mechanics in the rain. All right. Now I'm happy. Now we can call it. Now we can call it a wrap. All right, post-production, get to work.